We are back for our first episode of season 2. Got a good show for you. Pretty sure of it. We got Moonfall and Uncharted as our reviews today, and the top 5 treasure hunting movies of all time. And I cannot wait to release that list because there was a lot of good movies. But thank you for watching us out there on YouTube at Rhode Island Broadcasting, Facebook.com/RI Broadcasting, Twitter at Broadcasting RI, and of course, Twitch at twitch.tv/RI underscore broadcasting. And if you're also watching us on Vio or listening to us on Anchor, Spotify, Google, or TuneIn Podcasts. So we want to welcome everybody. And just letting you know, in case you didn't realize it, it is live right now on Wednesday. So when we do a new show, it'll be on a Wednesday usually. Usually around 1. I'm a little later because I decided at the last minute to add the top 5 treasure hunting movies. So let's jump into it. Um, the reviews, we break it down into 10 categories in case you have not seen the show before. If you haven't, I suggest watching the previous 24 episodes from last year. Some of those are still pretty viable because you might not have seen the movie. So, um, and if you have, it's always nice to get another opinion. So we break it down to 10 categories at 10 points each. That totals out to be 100 points. Uh, Actor believability, which basically tells us the stars and how they did. Then we have the supporting cast, screenwriting, and storyline. Then we also have production, music and sound, background, which covers the background of the characters and the background of the movie scenes. Also, entertainment factor. How entertaining is it? The ending and watchability, which lets you know if you can go watch this again and again and again, or never see it. So those are the categories. We may not break down every single category for the movie, but we will give you um, different parts of it. So we're going to start with Moonfall. Um, directed by Roland Emmerich, of course, starring Holly Berry and Patrick Wilson. Both did a great job. They were very believable in their roles. Like especially um, once they were in space and things go wrong, and then people get blamed, of course, and so when you're down on your luck, and then of course coming back towards being the heroes. Um, Everything that these two did were superb. Of course, Holly Berry is already has plenty of accolades in her repertoire as a fine actress. So they did not disappoint and did a fantastic job. And I gave them an 8.5. So, you know, B, right in that area, B minus, 8.5. Um, the supporting cast, there was a lot of people that were the supporting cast, including John Bradley, Charlie Plummer, and Michael Pena. Michael Pena, he's so fun in movies, and um, he played Patrick Wilson's character, Brian Harper's ex-wife's new husband, um, which, you know, nobody likes the new husband. so, but he was so good. Um, he did a fantastic job, and I loved it. And um, Sonny Harper was played by Charlie Plummer. Did a great job, and gave it an 8 for supporting cast. There was some people in it that weren't good, but the three main characters that were in the supporting roles were wonderful. So, um, moving along, let's talk about um, well, let's talk about the entertainment factor. Like this movie, there was always something going on. Like there was a lot of action. It just kept the pace going. Um, Even when there, wasn't like the action, so to speak. It was so interesting or funny in some cases, especially like John Bradley, who played Casey Houseman. He was awesome. Every scene he was in, he kind of steals the scene. So as a supporting role, that is amazing. And yeah, like the entertainment was awesome, especially when you get into the real meat of the movie. The final, I guess, 30 to 45 minutes were intense, um, and it did not disappoint. It gives a whole new perspective on what the moon actually is. I do not want to give away the moon. So, because if I gave it away, it would completely destroy the movie for you. So, I will not reveal what's going on up there. Um, you just gotta figure it out yourself. But it was pretty awesome. It was a really good movie. The ending, I gave it a 9. You will enjoy the ending of this movie. And again, I can't reveal it because it would ruin the movie for you. So, watchability definitely gave it an 8.5, and um, production 9.5. The special effects were awesome. It was fantastic. Got to see it on a big screen because that would be pretty amazing. So, all in all, I gave this movie, um, I gave the movie an 87 overall. So that is um, BB plus, which that makes it a really good movie. Um, and it's not a must see, but you might want to see this one. This one was pretty cool. It was pretty cool because the whole basically the whole mechanics of this movie is to make you think about you know if this is even possible. So definitely check it out. Moonfall from 2022, of course. 87.0. 87.0 is the rating, and that will certainly be in the top half of the movies that I've reviewed. Um, I tend to really pick some good movies unless I really want to have a bad one. I can always watch a bad one, but generally, if I was to go to a movie theater, I'm generally not disappointed because I generally pick out movies that I enjoy. So, because I don't feel like paying for something that is just awful, just don't want to do that. So, that was Moonfall. Again, if you are joining us out there, we appreciate it. Always leave some comments because I interact. We want to get your opinion on as well. So you just throw it down in comments, and we'll be more than happy to accommodate your comments. So um, I guess from there we move on to Uncharted. Uncharted. Director Ruben Fleischer. I went into this with high expectations, and I was not disappointed. It was a really good movie, and I do have to say it was a good thing. It was a good thing because if this movie would have been bad, I would have been crushed because we were on a roll with video game movies, one in a row, Sonic, one in a row. So it was good. Now, most of them are kind of bad. Doom, Mario Brothers. Remember all these? These are really bad movies. Mortal Kombat. Do we remember that one that just came out recently? Bad, bad. Um, Uncharted did not disappoint as far as being a good movie. There were some parts of it that we'll just say don't coincide with what could really happen. Um, so, directed by Ruben Fleischer, stars Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg. Mark Wahlberg plays Victor Sullivan. Of course, Tom. I don't know. Did I say Tom Arnold or Tom Holland? But Tom Holland plays Nathan Drake, a younger Nathan Drake. And, as far as background, I gave it a 9.5 because I think they did a pretty good job of the background of the Nathan Drake character, and I like that part of it. Um, because it's not a video game, and I know people are criticizing, oh, there's not much action, blah 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 blah. You know, there was action. You just don't realize it because you're thinking action as in a video game where you're actually doing the movements for Nathan Drake, and in the movie you're watching what happens. So all those parts of it where like he's in a heist kind of situation, and you think that there's no action, but it's the action that is has to do with your brain working and figuring out what they're trying to do. So it is action scenes. It's just that you're so used to playing it on a video game, so you're doing every single action of Nathan Drake, and that's why a lot of video game players that played it as a video game, all the Uncharted video games, they don't like it as much because of that action that they're doing. It feels like it's jam packed, but in all actuality, a lot of the action is intellectual action, figuring out the puzzles and the riddles and all of that stuff. Um, so the video game brings you fake action. Yes, fake action. And, and it kind of covers up the important aspect of figuring out things. So the background, it gave it a 9.5. Um, Entertainment factor, I gave it a 9.5 as well because, like I said, the people that played the video games don't understand that they got a lot of fake action in the video game. So, the real action, takes place in more of a a chase scene is where the action is, but it's all intellectual action, by those. by them solving the riddles and puzzles and going from one room to another room or one place to another place, and all of that is figured out. And that's part of the um, mystique of these kind of movies, these treasure hunting movies. So, um, actor believability, Tom Arnold. Now I got myself saying Tom Arnold, Tom Holland, and Mark Wahlberg. I thought were fantastic. Um, it's it's a it's a it's a it's a nice um, change of pace to what a video game release movie is really like. You know, yeah. If you compare it to a Tomb Raider, it it beats out Tomb Raider. You know, um, it it's just one of those things. Like we've had so many bad video game movies that it's hard to compare it to anything. And the only thing that you can compare it to really is Tomb Raider and Indiana Jones and stuff like that. So you just got to compare it to those movies, and it stacks up pretty well. And when you get the performance by Tom Holland that he does, it's just good to see. It's just good to see. Supporting cast: John Bradley. Oh wait, wrong list. The supporting cast: Antonio Banderas, Sophia Ali, and Tati Gabrielle. Antonio Banderas plays the arch rival of um, Victor, and he does a great job. I liked him in it. I'm wondering if he played this role because he's a fan of the game. He might be. I haven't you know heard whether or not he is or not. But a great performance by Sophia Ali, who played Chloe, kind of like their third partner kind of thing. But everybody was like backstabbing everybody, and it was like trying to figure out the puzzle of the relationships as well. That was a big part of it. Um, so it was kind of like, okay, well, who's the good guy, who's the bad guy in all of this? And I mean, that Nathan Drake is the one that you're supposed to be rooting for, so it's you know trying to figure out all the people around them, and that's what made part of the background kind of important in this movie, because you had to sort out what you're thinking as opposed to the characters, and what they're doing and what they're saying might not be what reality is comparably to all of them. So the screenwriting was pretty good, but I took off a bunch of points and only gave it a 7.5 because of towards the end, which was fantastic. The ending I gave a 9. It was a fantastic ending, but a lot of the things weren't believable, and mostly because it was not possible. So, and again, I don't want to give away anything in the movie, but you will see at the end when they're flying around in the helicopters. Oh, that's all I'll give you. When they're flying around in the helicopters, what they're doing would not be possible. And that goes for a scene at the beginning of the movie as well. Um, so, so kind of that part of the writing um, kind of fell, but it did not take away from the movies. You just accept, oh, this is a movie, so okay, that's okay in the movies, not reality, but in the movies. Um, the production again, 9.5. Um, Look, they just did a great job with with the effects and stuff like that they had to do. Um, it's not a movie that is going to like wow you with special effects or anything like that. It just is a good movie that you will enjoy. You'll enjoy it. It's entertaining. So after it is all said and done, I gave this movie an 86.4, so just a little bit lower than Moonfall. Um, but again, it was like right there, B plus. You know, it's worth saying. It's worth saying. So, so yeah, those are the two movies that we reviewed this week. But we have the top five treasure hunting movies of all time. Before I do that, once again, I thank you for joining us at HavenShine Reviews, Season 2, Episode 1, discussing Moonfall, Uncharted, and the top five treasure hunting movies of all time. Let's go through all the stuff. You are watching us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and of course Twitter. If you're seeing the video, you could also be watching it on um, VO. You can listen to it on TuneIn, Anchor, Spotify, and of course Google Podcasts. Um, so click subscribe, the like button, the little bell on YouTube. Click that, and also, if you're on Twitch, throw us a subscription. We could always use it. It helps pay for the programs and stuff like that for all the shows that we do on Rhode Island Broadcasting. Um, or you can throw some bits. You can throw us some bits. That always helps as well. Um, so, like I was saying, please follow us on YouTube at Rhode Island Broadcasting. Click that little bell. Uh, Also, don't forget the podcasts on Google, Spotify, Anchor, and of course, tune in. If you want to join us on the Discord, just go to the Discord page, discord.gg backslash capital NEGD4EZC, and just join us on Discord. I'm generally on quite often, or I get the message, you know. If you enjoy the show and you have a business and you want to sponsor the show, we would love that. It costs less than going to Starbucks for a coffee and a donut. Um, so ribroadcasting.media@gmail.com. Send us an email. We'll give you all the information. It's really inexpensive. And you can get like 22,000 eyeballs as it goes on our website, it goes on our Facebook, it goes on our Instagram and our Twitter. And of course, you know, during the shows, we read it off. So lots of eyeballs and ears. Um, to get the movies that we rate, you can just go to HavenShine.net. HavenShine.net. You can see all the movies that I've rated already. I've got probably about 15 more to add that we featured in this show. Um, and, in the past few weeks when I watch a movie. Um, so, yeah, let's do that. So let's move along to the top five treasure hunting movies of all time. Look, there were so many. There were so many, and there were so many good ones. Um, so there was, of course, Indiana Jones, um, Temple of Doom, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Last Crusade. There was also Goonies. There was Tomb Raider, like we had mentioned. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly with Clint Eastwood. That, believe it or not, was a treasure hunting movie. Um, it's a mad, 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 mad world. I believe it was 1963 that was out. Um, so there was a ton of them, and it was like a billion Treasure Island movies. Um, so I'm gonna tell you, none of those Treasure Island movies are in because you can't even tell which one is which anymore because there's so many of them. So I didn't even put any of those in contention. There's like literally at least 20 of them. So they have like a new Treasure Island movie every other year it seems. So without further ado, number 5 is Sahara. Yes, Sahara. Uh, Starring Matthew McConaughey and Penelope Cruz. I enjoyed this movie. Director Breck Eisner. Um, I thought it was really good. It look it had two actors that have been around and have done numerous movies, have done great things in some of their movies. Some of the movies maybe not, but this one I believe this one is my favorite Matthew McConaughey movie. Penelope Cruz is always wonderful. She's a great actress. I gave this movie a 91.0. You're going to get action. You're going to get, a great story. Um, the intertwining of the characters, they do a great job with that. Also, Steve Zahn, awesome. It had Lenny James from Walking Dead series. Yeah, Lenny James. Um, the supporting cast did a great job as well. Um, everything was good about this movie. I loved it and gave it a 91.0, and that was number 5. Number 5. So that might be a surprise for you. If that was, then this one is definitely going to be a surprise for you. Into the Blue. Um, it stars Paul Walker and Jessica Alba. Um, John Stockwell was the director of this movie, and let me tell you, this was not only was it a good movie, it was a fun movie to watch because they do a lot of the diving and stuff like that in this movie. So so it's a dreamer. Paul Walker plays a dreamer, and he wants to find treasure, and that's what he does, and he doesn't want to cave into the local, played by Josh Brolin, who you know is one of those guys that um, basically runs the big operation in the area, and he's got his mitts in everything, and he doesn't want to work for somebody like that, and just wants to do his own thing. So he struggles to make a living, and you know, but he ends up having a friend come and promises and promises and promises, and the friend just kind of screws everything up, and you know, a lot of things happen. So there's a lot of action. There is you know chases and guns and shoot 'em ups and stuff like that, and a lot of action does take place. So when I did all the numbers out, it came out to a 93.5 because there wasn't anything I didn't like. I've seen the movie a bunch of times already. I don't get sick of the movie, so the watchability is way up. The action, the entertainment factor is way up. Um, it's just a great movie to watch, especially if you're a fan of both of them. Um, they mesh together well as a couple in the movie as well. So um, that is number 4. Moving on to number three, um, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Um, Look, I mean, it's Indiana Jones. I love all the movies. Um, the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was okay. I don't really like how it ended. Um, but this one here starred, of course, Harrison Ford and Sean Connery playing his father. Um, Look, when you're bringing in a Sean Connery, the acting automatically goes up, no matter what. Like he's that good. So, um, so this movie, the scores for acting went up both in the actor believability and supporting cast. Um, I mean, it's hard not to go up when you're adding a Sean Connery to the list, and so with the Last Crusade, I think the actors that they had portraying all the roles were fantastic. Of course, Harrison Ford is Indiana Jones, and you know, I mean, he does a great job playing Indiana Jones. Like that's who he is, you know. So definitely number three, and it was a 95. Gave it a 95. Um, Loved it. I've seen it. I don't even know how many times. Um, Probably more than all the others, to be honest with you. It's between that one and Raiders of the Lost Ark that I've seen the most. Number two might also be a surprise. It is it is a treasure hunting movie. Believe it or not, The Rundown with Dwayne Johnson and Sean William Scott, directed by Peter Berg. Like this movie is just awesome. It is fun. It is a fun movie. Um, Dwayne Johnson basically plays like I guess, a bounty hunter kind of thing for his. He gets hired by his gangster, by Sean William Scott's character's father in the movie, and he chases him down, and so a lot of things happen when he's trying to, and they end up having to find a certain artifact. So, and it kept changing hands, um, you know, and so it was a treasure hunting movie, disguised as a bounty hunter movie. It's about best as I can put it to you. Tons of action, tons of comedy. It's that those one line, dry humor kind of comedy. Um, I love the movie. I love the movie. It also stars Christopher Walken. But why? He is awesome in the movie. He's awesome in just about every movie he's in. So, like, if you don't like Christopher Walken, I don't know what to tell you. Also stars Rosario Dawson. I love Rosario Dawson. She's awesome. One of my favorites. But, you know, the rundown 95.5 just barely beat out The Last Crusade. And that leaves us with number one. Um, should come as no surprise, but it is Raiders of the Lost Ark. Really enjoyed it. Um, I mean, what can you say? It's the original Indiana Jones movie. Everything was wonderful about it. Everything. I mean, Harrison Ford, he got fortunate and He's in two of the biggest franchises in movies history, like eh, Star Wars and Indiana Jones. Like, how incredible is that? So, um, Raiders of the Lost Ark gave it a 96 rating. I mean, where is there a hole in this movie? You know what I mean? There's no hole. Like, it's just awesome. Like all the action, you know, it's a near perfect movie. You got a 96. It doesn't get much better than that. You're talking 9.5s in so many categories. Um, I gave it a 10 for storyline, production, uh, music and sound. Of course, music and sound. You know, 10 in entertainment factor and watchability. I've seen the movie so many times. That's obviously it's rewatchable. And then either a 9 or a 9.5 in all the other categories. So, uh, look, it's one of the best movies ever made, to be honest with you. It's one of those top movies. This is an absolute must see. It's a must see. As is most of these movies, they're all rated over 90. And let me tell you, there were some other movies that were rated almost there. Like Goonies just missed. National Treasure, another treasure hunting movie that is really, really good. It's about Nicolas Cage's few good movies, is when he played in National Treasures. Um, so yeah, like these movies are great. You'll find them all on, the website soon. I'd like to say I put it up there tomorrow, but we have a couple other shows to prepare for tomorrow. So most likely will be the weekend that all these movies get put on the website. And again, you can see all the ratings of the movies we did review already at HavenShine.net. Just go to the movie section, um, and you'll find all kinds of stuff there, as well as music and everything. Um, so that pretty much wraps up um, the top five treasure hunting movies of all time. Um, yeah, please, you know, get in, watch all the other episodes from last year, including our year-ending review for the best and worst movies of last year. And we'll do it all again this year. I've already seen a bunch of them from this year, so um, so keep looking out, and hopefully we see you the next episode coming up. Let me see. So the next one should be after the Batman, which comes out this weekend. So we'll be here next Wednesday at 1 o'clock with our review of the Batman with Robert Pattinson. I'm just going to pretend it's somebody else, so that way I don't go into it expecting badness. So that's the show for this episode. We will see you next week when we discuss The Batman live 1 p.m. on Wednesday.